Alright, fellas, we are back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes. The night is still young. It's already midnight. I'm gonna be up until, like, morning at this rate, because there's so many videos I gotta do based on all the stuff we got in the data mine. Alright, so for this one, we're just gonna take a look at the new Arcane weapon. It is a blue tome, which is pretty good. So, Arcane Euphoria. Just in case you guys aren't aware of who the unit is that comes with it, it's kind of a spoiler, so I'm going to try not to actually reveal who that unit is while we're talking about this. Okay, so this Arcane weapon, what it does is -1 special trigger at the start of combat if unit's HP is over 25%, grants all stats of 5 to unit. Unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack, deals damage equal to 15% of unit's attack, including when doing an AoE special, and then reduces damage from foe's first attack by 30% during combat. So, a lot of good effects here all rolled into one. We get the -1 special trigger, which we really appreciate. All stats of 5. We're getting some true damage based on attack, which is really good. The guaranteed follow-up can be nice as well on slower units, and for even fast units, this can play up pretty well because you can break through wary fighter effects, assuming you don't have null follow-up in your kit. And then the DR is going to help us survive enemy attacks. So just an all-around very solid Arcane weapon here. Blue tomes are going to be enjoying this. And just for comparison's sake, I also pulled up the Arcane red tome that we can take a look at here. So Arcane Eclipse, this is what this one did. -1 special trigger. At the start of turn 1, you get -1 special cooldown count. So it has a built-in times pulse effect. And then also, at the start of combat, if your HP is over 25%, you get all stats of 5, you make a guaranteed follow-up attack, and you nullify penalties to your attack in combat. So, also, a pretty solid Arcane weapon, but I feel like the blue one is a little better. We're getting true damage based on attack, which is really clutch. We're also getting the DR and the guaranteed follow-up. This one also gives a guaranteed follow-up, but no DR. So, the DR really helps, especially for like super fast, super high attack units that aren't really the bulkiest. So it helps them make sure they can get to their second hit and then finish the opponents off with a nuking special. So I do feel like that's better. Also, the -1 special trigger from this weapon, while it can help you get set up, it becomes a moot point a little bit on some of the infantry units when you're free to run Special Spiral 4 and also Times Pulse 4. So by then, you'd already be able to just ramp right into Glacies yourself, and you wouldn't need too much help. There's so many ways to accelerate special cooldown count now, like with the Asker units, with his duo skill and also his passive. And then we have also a Rally Spectrum now, and a whole bunch of other ways. So I wouldn't sweat too much that this weapon here, Arcane Euphoria, does not have the -1 special trigger at the start of the turn. So let's go ahead and take a look at some units here. I have compiled what I think are the standout blue tome inheritable units that we can go ahead and give this tome to. Also, shoutouts to the people that made this tool. It says from Shadow. Is this from Zeshadow? I don't know if Zeshadow made this tool or like someone in his Discord or whatever it may be. But whoever made this tool, this is called the Fey Unit Builder. The link is right there. Y'all have my thanks, man. Y'all have my gratitude. Making it real easy to make these videos. And also, they already got the Arcane weapon in there, even though it's only been around for like 4 hours by this point. Okay, so we're starting things off with the Cadence Sorin here. Now, this guy is really interesting because he's got a really cracked out attack and res combo. He actually has the highest attack and res combo out of any infantry blue mage, and he is a Tempest Trial unit. So he's free to play. You're easily going to be able to get him +10 if you want to spend the grails on him. And of course, we're running a pretty obvious build here. Special Spiral 4, Times Pulse 4. With the -1 special trigger, lets you ramp into Glacies every single time after combat. So that's what we're going for. We're just stacking attack and res through the roof. This build is going to work on pretty much every infantry blue tome. So even if you don't see your favorite blue tome in here, there's quite a lot of infantry blue tomes that you can use. Like OG Lindy or Bunny Lucina or the Bride. Bride Kata's interesting too. She's got a lot of speed. So if your favorite infantry tome unit did not show up, just be aware you can just run this build on anything and it's going to work. So this is what we're going for here. All right, next up we have the I was going to call her Plegian Tharja. I guess every Tharja is from Plegia, right? But this is the Summer Tharja from the Bikini Banner. So this is a Cavalry Blue Tome. She's actually the best Cavalry Blue Tome that you can merge up relatively easily, but the problem with her is that she is also a seasonal demote, so she's not always available to summon, and you have to spend orbs to get her to plus 10. So that is the bad side to that, but she does have the best attack and speed combo with a super boon on both, I believe. So you really can't go wrong with her if you're going to go for the merge project on her. So for this build, we're just going for Flared Sparrow, Seal Res 4, Red Feud. We're just maximizing deeps pretty much. As much DPS as we can get. Blade Session gives the most attack and speed out of the Seal slot. And we're going for Ruptured Sky here. Unfortunately, there's not really too many options for non-infantry mages. You could also try Iceberg as well, I guess, but her defense is kind of blow. So you just want to go for all attack and speed here, I would say. And of course, Flared Sparrow, can't ignore the amount of damage you're getting out of that. There's so many variations you could run for this build as well, by the way. You could also go for Desperation 4 if you can find a way to like get null follow-up support on her, or if you just deem the speed and guaranteed follow-up sufficient enough to break Wary Fighter and then get a speed check double. There's also Escape Route if you want to get Kanto on her, so I'm not trying to say like any of these builds are definitive or like the best thing you can be running. These are just example builds to show what the units can do. Alright, next up we have Bride Juno. She is another 4-star seasonal demote, so similar to Tharja, you would have to spend orbs to get this unit to plus 10. But she does have the best attack and speed combo out of all Blue Tome flyers, so that is why she made it onto this list. Now with the flyers, of course, we can run Soaring Guidance. She has much better res to work with than Tharja, so Iceberg is valid here. And then just Escape Route and Flared Sparrow, of course. We've got the Catch Seal for some attack and speed there. So here's another example of how you can build a flyer with the Blue Tome. Alright, then we have the Tempest Trial Veronica here from the Valentine banner. Now, she's our best mergeable Cavalry Blue Tome that has the best attack and speed combo, and she also does not cost orbs, unlike Tharja. However, if we take a look here, Tharja just blows her out of the water in terms of attack and speed, as sad as that may be. But the fact that you can just build this unit with Heroic Grails does have some merit there, so if you don't want to spend the orbs on Tharja, this is your best option for a cavalry unit. Also, this is not up yet, the refine for Arcane Euphoria, so we can't give it the bonus stats. You would be getting plus 2 to HP, and I would recommend going for either the speed refine or the res refine. You only get 1 point of attack, which is not really that big a deal. The extra speed or extra res would probably be best, depending on what kind of unit you're using it on. So those are the two refines I would recommend here. Now for this build, we're just going to stack as much DR as we can get. There's not too many options, sadly, for cavalry units, unlike infantry and all the other types. So we're going for Remote Sparrow and Brash Assault here, just to get as much damage reduction as we can stack. It's going to stack pretty nicely, because this weapon has 30%, Remote Sparrow's got 30%, and Brash Assault also has 30%. And then you deal augmented damage with Brash Assault based on the damage you reduce. So this could work out pretty well. Ruptured Sky, once again, for the special. You could try Iceberg as well on her if you wanted to give that a go. And then we got Attack and Speed Solo, Defense Res Smoke to get Pathfinder after combat, which can allow your other units to take advantage of. So there's another possible build. Alright, next up we have Muriel here. So in terms of attack and speed, this is our best merge project for infantry Blue Tomes. So I've got her listed here, but the list goes on and on. There's quite a lot of Blue Tome infantry units you could be using, and the differences are very minor. They're not like super big. Like Muriel may be better in like 1 or 2 points on attack and speed, so feel free to just give the same build or this build over here to your favorite infantry Blue Tome if you want. So this time, instead of going for the same build we had on Sorin, we're just trying to mix it up a little, show off some different skills. We've got Flare here, which only the infantry Tome units can use, RIP. Attack Speed Finish 4, Magic Null Follow-Up, so we can cut DR in half and then also prevent enemies from doing a follow-up, which can combo pretty well with the 30% DR on the first hit from this. So as long as you're fast and the enemies are not being able to do guaranteed follow-ups, you can really bully some slow units with this. Then we got Attack and Speed Oath 4 for the jumping and the extra attack and speed, and then Form there for even more attack and speed. Should be pretty self-explanatory there. Flare is, I mean, you could use Flare for sure on her, but also Iceberg is really good because she's got a thick res stat there. So you may want to prefer going for Iceberg, but Flare can help with the healing because, of course, the idea with this build is to rely on the 30% DR from this weapon and the null follow-up to keep yourself alive. So you will be taking one counter hit, and then you can possibly heal off all the damage with Flare. Alright, so next up we've got the Halloween Ilyana. This is actually not even easily mergeable. She's a 5-star exclusive. She is part of the special rate pull though, so you could potentially get her off a special rate 5-star pull now. But she is pretty much 5-star exclusive, so it's not going to be easy to get this unit of plus 10. But she is worth bringing up because she is pretty solid with this Arcane Tome. So we're running for a high attack, high res build here for a far save unit, and we got Armored Flow for some non-pierceable DR. Fire Flood Boost, of course, inflicts guard on the enemies while giving a lot of attack, a lot of res, and also HP. Special Fighter 4 gives you the special acceleration on your hit and inflicts guard on the enemies, so a very nice combo there. And then the real reason why we're running this, though, is to get the healing after we pop Armored Flow, so we can get some recovery there, and then the rest is pretty much just boosting her attack and res as much as we can. Now, for an alternate armored unit, if you prefer to go fast, you can go for this build on this Christmas Nino here. So she's really quick for an armored unit, 54 speed. She's actually as fast as Starja is, which is kind of nuts, because this Starja was really fast. So Nino looking pretty good there with the speed. So Armored Flow again seems pretty reasonable there. We got some solid res to work with, and then all attack and speed boosting skills. Savvy Fighter's got null follow-up and 40% DR on the first hit. So similar to what we showed off on with Muriel, where you can abuse the 30% DR here and a null follow-up effect to possibly stop enemies from hitting you twice. You can really get some sustain there that will be able to keep you in the game. So that's what we're going for, but this is another 5-star exclusive, so not the easiest to plus 10. Alright, next up we have Scion Levin. Now, I felt the need to bring this guy up in particular because he is slightly better than Muriel. It's not by much. We can see here Muriel's got 61 attack and 51 speed. And then Levin's got 63 attack and 51 speed. So he's only got 2 more points of attack than Muriel. And he does have more res as well. He's got 3 more points of res. So he is slightly better, but it's not the biggest deal. And he is a 4-star seasonal demote as well. So you would have to spend orbs to get this guy to plus 10. Whereas Muriel, you probably already have enough copies to plus 10 her at this very moment. So anyway, Scion Levin's pretty nice. He's got a lot of attack and speed, super boons on both, and then we can run a build like this. So Special Spiral 4, Iceberg, Finish 4 for attack and speed, Oath 4, and then Form 3 to just pump up as much attack and speed as we can. Pretty bread and butter build there. Alright, and then we have an interesting option here. So this Dancer Ninian OG unit from way back when can actually be a very solid support unit. If you want to run her in Arena, I guess you could with the dual Flying 4 skill. So this would raise her score cap. You can run Guidance 4 or Soaring Guidance. We got Firestorm Dance to provide some really nice bonuses to allies after dancing, and then we've got aerobatics. So the idea here would be to use aerobatics to jump to an ally, then you can dance them, and then use the Canto from Firestorm Dance to move further away from them, and then you're extending the reach with Guidance 4 by quite a lot. And you also just dance the ally that you Cantoed away from, so they're free to now jump in really far with Guidance 4, and now they also have attack and speed up 6, and they also have guaranteed desperation. So it could be a nice build. It's very sus, though, because you're not... Dance skills do not score very good for Arena whatsoever, and the dual 4s have been completely power crept in terms of score anyway. So, more for a novelty. If you're not necessarily in Tier 21, if you're in, like, Tier 20, maybe this could be very useful, though. And she is the only worthwhile dancer I thought that was worth bringing up. There's also Shigure, who's another infantry blue tome dancer, but Ninian's got better stuff. Being a flyer type, she has access to better support. And then finally, we have the Cobweb Sophia, very adorable unit with that plushy spider. So this unit's got tons and tons of attack and res, pretty solid for making use of Iceberg or Glacies. I would say try to go for Iceberg in this case. And we're going for Remote Mirror here to get some more DR to stack with the 30% from this weapon. Then we've got Attack and Res Oath 4 to jump in and get more attack and res. Seal Res just to inflict guard on the foes and also lower their res by as much as we can. And then Attack and Res Form 3 as well to pump up our res as much as possible. So this one's not quite as foolproof. It can definitely work for sure, but if the enemies have no follow-up, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble, because Sophie is not necessarily fast enough to initiate a double on her own if the enemies can block the guaranteed follow-up from this weapon. But in a perfect world where the enemy may not have no follow-up, you'd be able to hit them twice. The first hit, and then you survive thanks to your double stacking of DR there, and the next hit is an iceberg that should probably delete the enemy. So there you guys go. Those are some of the most noteworthy units to build and give Arcane Euphoria to. I tried to get a good balance of free-to-play and light spending, like with the 4-star demotes, and then we have a couple of 5-star exclusives, which may or may not be in your possession, but I just thought it would be worthwhile to show them off as well. So that's all for this video here. This is your boy Tacho signing out, and we have quite a few more videos to go. So stay tuned for more, and I will catch you guys again on the flip side.